Hi everyone, welcome to the Witching Week. Today is episode number 57. Today we are going to be looking at endings at Samhain. We're going to be looking at The Witch's Survival Guide by Jennifer Lane, and we're going to be talking about some of the Gnostic teachings of Jesus that were hidden by the church, and there was a very good reason for that. So grab a cup of tea or something hot or something refreshing. You might be somewhere that's getting hotter as we speak. Put some incense on, get comfy, and we'll jump right in. Welcome back everybody, thank you for being here, thank you for watching. I've attempted this video a couple of times now because I wasn't here last week. My brain has got out of the habit of doing these, so please bear with me today. If you're new here, welcome. My name's Wren, I'm known as the Cemetery Witch. And today we've got all sorts of topics to talk about. We get together on a Friday and we talk about the week previous, what's coming up, the wheel of the year, seasonal changes, things like that, and we cover a range of witchy and spiritual topics. I wasn't here last week, I'm sorry about that. I was busy at Samhain and it involved not having very much sleep, so I needed a couple of days to recover. But not only that, I've been making something for my children, for my daughter and my two stepdaughters, ready for the month of December, and I really needed to just get that finished off so that I could get it to its various places. So tell me first, no actually don't tell me first, I'm going to tell you first what I'm drinking today and what I am burning. So no tea today, I fancied something cold, so I either drink water generally or I drink lime squeezed into water, so it's like squash but without all the sugar, and it's nicer than doing it with lemon. It seems to work better with lime. So yeah, I'm feeling quite dehydrated, I don't know why, so I'm on the squash today, and I am just burning some patchouli forest, which is my favourite, as you all know. And it's really weird because when I'm feeling like less than 100%, I don't tend to put on other incenses because I don't know, I know this one really well, and I just really love this one and find this one really soothing. So if I'm ever burning this stuff, then you know it's because, you know, my nerves are a bit frazzled. I'm just feeling a bit sort of like my nervous system is on overdrive. So we've got this nice, calming, soothing patchouli forest, which I've told you before, they don't make anymore. You can still buy it, but yeah, eventually this stuff's going to run out. So I don't know what I'm going to do when that runs out. So yeah, that is what I am burning and drinking. That's the vibe for today. So Samhain, how was it? What did you do in the end? Did you have the plans that you intended to? Did you do anything completely out of the ordinary? Did you do something new for the first time? Let me know how your Samhain was. We did the Avebury Samhain walk. Now I can't remember if it's got a name. I call it the Walk of the Dead. I'm not sure if that's its official name, but that's the name I've got sort of like ringing in my head at the moment. Basically you meet at the pub in the centre of Avebury at the Red Lion, and you meet at about 11 o'clock at night. Then you walk up to the sanctuary, which is at the other end of Avebury. It's practically in West Kennet. It's not a long walk, and there is a ceremony at that end. So you can choose to either do the walk, or some people jumped in and were there ready for the ceremony. They'd driven up to the sanctuary and they were already there. So we did that. It is an opportunity to pass any loved ones over by using an apple, which is very symbolic at this time of year. And then in the morning, the druid takes the apples to a stream, to a spring, and they are washed away. So really beautiful. We did the first part, we didn't do the second part, and I was absolutely exhausted because I'm in bed usually by 9 o'clock most nights and usually asleep by 10. So we'd had not very good sleep 2 nights previously, so that morning of Samhain we had some business that we needed to see to in Glastonbury, so we got up really early and we thought we might as well make a day of it. So we got up really early. We got up at about 4 o'clock and had to leave at 5. And you know what it's like when you set the alarm and you know you've got to get some sleep, you know, you have to get your head down. Usually it means that you're in for a rough night, or at least in our house. So we didn't get much sleep the night before Samhain, and then the night before that had been rough as well. So this just honestly is a bit of a recipe for disaster for me, but yeah, it took me a few days to get over. And as I said, I was making something in the days after for my daughters. So I'm sorry I wasn't here last week. I hope you all had a wonderful Samhain. And yeah, we're looking towards the Yule now, aren't we? The winter solstice, that will be our next celebration. So that's, well, from the point of Samhain, it's just sort of under 8 weeks away. So we've obviously got a couple of weeks under our belt since then, or a week under our belt. So we are making our way to the darkest depths of the winter, aren't we? So we're in November now, and then we'll get to the winter solstice. And yes, the days will start to get a bit longer. We'll start to gain more light as we go back the other way. But really, for us here in the UK, and I'm sure for many of you watching, actually, we're only really starting to enter the darkest depths then. So we've got the lead up to that. If you think of the weather in December, but most specifically in January and February, and then to some degree some of March, depending on what kind of weather we get in March. March is, I call it like a swing month, because it could go either way. It could either be absolutely hideous and really cold, and we can even have snow in March, or it can actually be very, very warm. We can sort of get close to, you know, wanting to wear t-shirts. I think we've even had hot weather before in March. So it's a strange month, but yeah, we're on the lead up now to entering that darkest point, but we're also entering the lead up to get to the point where there is a promise of light, the return of the light. So I'm kind of feeling fairly excited for that. This winter's been a lot, well, we're not in winter yet, but this sort of winter period, this sort of like downturn part of the year of the wheel, I have not found so hard this year, because we've had such unseasonably warm weather, and I know many people are feeling that way. It feels like it's been or will be less severe this year, even if we have the worst sort of, and you can't really describe whether it's good or bad, you know, it's just weather. But even if we have the coldest winter, I feel like it won't feel as long as it has done previously, because we have had extremely warm weather in October. So of course, if you're watching for the first time, I know that's not great, but you know, for some of us, we do struggle. And I'm just saying that this autumn winter has been a lot easier this year. So what are we going to talk about today? We're going to talk about some witchy clothing. We're going to talk about some books, and I want to share some things that I've read in the week that I thought were really interesting. So first of all, I want to tell you about Ancient Earth clothing. So they can be found at ancientearthclothing.com. They have their first drop tonight at 8:30. So all the clothes will go on later for that time. There are some pictures on the website for the different pages, you know, like tops, dresses, skirts, that kind of thing. But the actual clothes will go on later at 8:30 tonight, and you'll have to be quick if there is something you like, because I know there's a whole load of lovely goddesses who are waiting to buy stuff. So let me tell you about Ancient Earth. Ancient Earth is a creation by a lovely lady called Alexandra. She previously worked for Stone Circle. It was her baby. She did all the work, but unfortunately she had some trouble with a business partner, and she found herself locked out of her very own website. So she took this as an opportunity to start again, to spring from the ashes, and this is an opportunity for her to rejuvenate and rebrand and just reinvigorate what it is that she loves doing, which is creating beautiful fashion for goddesses of pretty much all sizes, from about an 8 to 10 up to about a 22 to a 24. So the clothes that she designs are very, very clever. For example, wraparound dresses with loads of material, which means that no matter what size you are, they fit, and they're very, very good for me. I love her clothes because my weight fluctuates quite a bit. I can fluctuate by a couple of sizes, and also because I'm very, very sensitive. I get very uncomfortable in clothes because of my health conditions, because I'm always in pain, because I have a problem with my bladder and I have a connective tissue disorder. I get very, very uncomfortable around the waist. So this is why people always see me pretty much in leggings. I can't wear other clothes. I just find them too uncomfortable. So Alexandra's dresses and skirts and tunic tops, they're all absolutely fantastic for me, and they are just beautiful, witchy, alternative, goddess-like clothes. So yeah, tune in to ancientearthclothing.com. She has pretty much started from scratch, unfortunately, due to the behaviour of someone else, which is really, really sad. But Alex she's an innovative, really insightful, clever, creative person. So this hasn't been a problem for her, and this is just a chance for her to start afresh. So please go and support Alex. Go and like her Facebook page, her Instagram page. Have a look at her website. Have a look at her website tonight, even if you're not planning on buying. After 8:30, you'll be able to see the kind of clothes that she designs. So yeah, good luck, Alex. So that's 8:30 tonight UK time, and on the other side of the world that will work out as Saturday morning at 7 a.m. Adelaide time in Australia. They're sending to all over the world, so you just need to order and she'll get your things to you. And someone else I know, not so well, I've been sent her book by her publisher. You may remember me reviewing The Wheel. I did this for Witch with Books, or did I? No, I don't think I did actually, scrap that. Anyway, I reviewed this book, I read this book and absolutely loved it. This is The Wheel by Jennifer Lane, and it says A Witch's Path Back to the Ancient Self. And this was all about recovering from stress-related illness because of the sort of pace of modern life. And the way that Jennifer did this was by reconnecting with nature, reconnecting with herself, and she did this via a witchcraft path. So she goes through the Wheel of the Year, hence why it's called The Wheel. And now I feel like this, I haven't read it yet, I've only just been sent it. I feel like this is kind of like a bit of a follow-up to that book, because this is The Witch's Survival Guide, Spells for Healing from Stress and Burnout. So again, it's on that same sort of theme of dealing with or recovering from stress as a result of this modern world, and doing that by getting back to basics, back to nature, and by following a witchcraft path. So I've only had a quick flick through. It looks really, really good. It's got all sorts there. We'll just have a look. There's a page on earth, grounding, nourishing, resetting. She's talking about deities, an introduction to rituals and spells. So it looks like there's lots of stuff in there for beginners. It doesn't just jump into these spells and rituals. It has a host of information so that if you're new to the craft and you're not sure what you're doing, it's fairly instructional. So really, really looking forward to reading that. Jennifer Lane's second book. Thank you, Jennifer. I don't know if she's got any more in the pipeline, but I really, really enjoyed this one. So I'm sure this one will be brilliant, and any that follow. So yeah, comes highly recommended for me, and it's available. It's available now. You can buy that now if you want to give that a go. I just wonder if there's a quote on the back. Oh, there is. This is Ella Harrison, author of the Book of Spells. She says, with a focus on reconnecting with nature and the magic around us to help us heal and create a more conscious witchcraft practice, this is a book that truly any witch at any level might enjoy. So yeah, grab a copy of that. It might make a nice gift for you. We have that coming up, don't we? And Christmas. We have entered silly season now. I just find this part of the year really, really tiring. Although November's a bit of a lull, isn't it? We have bonfire night and fireworks at the beginning, and then there's this build up, isn't there, to Christmas. But have you noticed that everything was in the shops really, really early this year? So Halloween, that was in the shops from about July onwards, and then not long after the Halloween stuff came the Christmas stuff. It's been out for a couple of months already, so which is good on the one hand if you want to get really organised and you've got a lot to do and you want to spread the cost. I think that's really, really good. But it does mean we end up having Christmas and, you know, the topic of Christmas and having Christmas things around us for just like months on end. So I would say that we started seeing Christmas things back, I want to say end of August, but I'm not sure it was, but certainly September. So you've got September, October, November, December, and then obviously in January we are still, you know, there are still celebrations up until about the 6th. So we're talking 5 months of the year. That's nearly half the year dedicated to Christmas. I just think it's too much. Like, our lights have gone up in our town. I don't know if we've had the official switching on. I think that's usually the tree, but the lights are up, the lights are on. And for me, music, I've heard music, it's just too much. I think that Christmas should not start until December the 1st at the very, very earliest. But then, excuse me, I'm one of those people who would put the tree up as late as possible if I could get away with it. And that's not because I'm a Scrooge, and that's not because I don't like Christmas. It's because I think it makes it more magical when you leave it to the last moment and then it's upon you and then it happens. I think having these months and months and months building up to it is just, yeah, it's not special by the time it rolls around. But that's just my personal thoughts. But no, I'm definitely not someone who would put my tree up on November the 1st, and some people do. I know some people that do that. That's fine. That's their personal choice. That makes them happy. So I think if it makes you happy, then do it. But for me personally, I think it's nice to put the tree up around about, like, I would say even the 20th, as late as that. And of course, like, we have Yule and we have the winter solstice. So for me as a pagan, that is the celebration that comes first, and then we have Christmas. And I know they overlap, but yeah, my focus is on the winter solstice, I suppose, more as a celebration, and then Christmas. But yeah, I remember going to my godmother's as a child, and she used to allow us to put the tree up and decorate it. Well, the tree was already up. She always used to have a real tree. The tree was there ready, but we used to decorate it, and we used to do that on Christmas Eve. She'd have us, very generously, she'd have us on Christmas Eve so that my mum and dad, or my mum, could get organised, which was so generous of her. But for us, it was literally the most magical thing going to see my godmother, because she is just magical. And I loved it, and it just felt so special. You'd put the tree up, you'd be excited because it was Christmas Eve, and then the next day it was Christmas Day. So yeah, I think that is what has led me as an adult to want to put it up later. Plus my mum's birthday is on the 14th, so we didn't used to have the tree up generally at home until after that point. We had mum's birthday first, which I think is fair enough, and then the tree would go up after that. So there was quite a short time, I guess, after her birthday, you know, where the tree was up, and then it became Christmas. So yeah, what are your traditions? Do you have a Yule tree? Do you have a Christmas tree? Whatever you would like to call it. Do you put one up? Do you have just a little one? Do you not bother maybe? When do you like to put yours up? I'd love to hear your feedback. I'd love to know if there are some of you that are watching that put yours up on like November the 1st or something. No judgment whatsoever here. I think, yeah, like I said, if it makes you happy, then do it. But for me, I feel like Christmas should happen later on in the month of December. But I am going to put it up earlier this year, and there is a reason. I'll be having an early Christmas with my best friend and her partner. They are coming to have Christmas. That will probably be my last like little social bit at the beginning of December, and then I'm going to go into full hibernation mode. I think I already feel like that. And yeah, get some rest as well. I feel like this year has been really, really hectic, and obviously I've been ill as well, but I feel like it's really knocked it out of me, and I actually feel like I need to use this winter for what it's intended. You know, we're not supposed to be moving at 100 miles an hour over the winter. We're actually supposed to be resting and hibernating and slowing down and going inward and getting ready to spring forth again next spring. So I am going to be hibernating this winter very much, I think. So I thought we'd talk about Samhain and endings and stuff like that. So recently well, I say recently, last week, I let go of some stuff that I was holding on to. It was worth a lot of money. I'll put a picture up now. It's all my craft stuff that I had left over from when I was a demonstrator for a company called Stampin' Up. And I used to demonstrate, I did it for about 8 years, and when my daughter was small, it was something I could do. She wasn't, before she was at school, so I was looking after her, and it just gave me some extra income, and I really, really enjoyed it. I did scrapbooking, card making. I used to teach lessons as well, and I absolutely loved it, and I was absolutely obsessed. And I stopped doing this with, my chronic illnesses and stuff. I got way too tired to use it. Plus my attention now is on other things. It's on sharing witchcraft and educating people about witchcraft. And it's sat in my house for about 4 years. Now, I sold a little bit of it, but at the moment, it wasn't holding its economic value because of the cost of living crisis and just how bad things are economically in our country. If you were to buy the bits new, they would be a lot of money, but I couldn't sell them on. And I decided, do I really want to sell them on? Do I want to send them out to unknown places where they might then sit in someone else's cupboard? So I decided, as I was going to be letting this stuff go, and that was quite a big emotional thing, I decided I was going to donate it to a charity instead. So we have an organisation in our town, I'm not going to give the name because I'm not sure if that's appropriate. They look after some people as well with learning disabilities and things like that, and they have regular art and craft sessions. They have all sorts of things going on for their clients. So I decided to give them all my scrapbooking and card making bits and bobs, and also a load of jewellery findings, so loads of beads. So they did like bracelet making and necklace making and stuff like that. So it's the end of a chapter for me. I had a lot of emotional investment in these items because it was something I really, really loved doing. It was a really, really happy period in my life. And for much of that time when I was, I had periods on my own, either because I didn't have a partner or because my daughter was very small and she'd be in bed in the evenings and I'd be stuck at home on my own with her up in bed. They kept me company. So I always sort of envisaged I would get back to card making, but it just hasn't happened, and I needed to be honest about myself. And as I'm getting older, I'm just feeling the need to let go of things as well. Like this idea of being light and not having tons and tons of possessions has really appealed to me in recent times. As you know, I've spoken about it before. I've got rid of loads of clothes. I have got rid of just loads of junk, loads of stuff that through kind of no real fault of my own, like moving quite a few times in my adult life, I've sort of had things I've held on to and never had time to sort out all my stuff. But over the last couple of years, I've been doing that, which is another reason why I've been fairly quiet online, on Instagram, stuff like that, because I've been really trying to get my life in order, get my affairs in order, and just sort out loads of stuff and just let go of loads of stuff. So it feels very apt for this time of year, this sort of like purging and releasing. It makes me think of the death card in tarot. It makes me think of that whole sort of like out with the old, in with the new. And it feels really good for the soul to let go of this stuff. It feels really freeing. Like I feel so much lighter, and it was just a real pleasure to give it to this charity. And I know that they've been card making. I know they've had jewelry sessions, and I'm just really, really pleased to have let go of it. And my cupboard / office, which is a utility room in our house, it's now much, much clearer and tidier. And I just feel like a massive, massive weight has been lifted off of my shoulders. So I'd love to know, and yeah, it kind of takes me back to the sort of ancient earth stone circle thing, where my friend Alex has started afresh. She's let go of stone circle and she's started ancient earth. So I'd really like to know, is this something that has happened for you recently? Because I'm seeing a lot of it around where people are letting go of things either by choice or because they've been forced. And you know, there is that small bit of pain. You know, I was emotionally invested in these bits and bobs. I was hanging on to them. I did have hopes that I would use them, but you get to a point where you have to be honest with yourself. So yeah, I'd like to know, is there something massive that you've let go of recently? You don't have to tell us what it is. You don't have to share if you're not comfortable, but I'd love to hear, you know, is that a process you are going through at this time? I just feel like it is just so relevant to this part of the wheel, you know, letting go of stuff round about winter, which frees you up to look to the year ahead and to cope with, you know, other things. So winter, it's all very symbolic, isn't it? I would love to know. Let me know. Was the thing that you let go of, was it big? Was it small? Was it forced upon you? If it was, can you see the benefits of that yet? Are you yet to sort of like work through that yet? Maybe it was a choice you made. Maybe even though it was a choice, it feels as difficult as having it forced upon you. I must admit, like, I've let go of this stuff. I haven't given it a second thought. That was part of my decision process, was the fact that I didn't give this stuff a second thought. I completely forgot it was there, apart from the fact of when it would make me feel really, really overwhelmed. You know, when I would glance at the cardstock in the corner and go, oh my God, you know, I've just got tons of this stuff. When I moved to this house, I had 42 big boxes of craft stuff. I got rid of a load over the last couple of years. I've just done it step by step so that it wasn't too difficult, and also so that I wasn't trying to force 42 boxes of stuff onto people. And then I got it down to, I guess, like maybe 5 boxes worth, and that's what I've just given away. So yeah, let me know. It feels very much like the death card. A little bit of pain, a little bit of short-term pain, but not too much suffering overall. And yeah, I've only had those like pangs of like, oh my goodness, this morning when I looked at the photo when I was preparing for this video, but I'm over it now. It's gone now, so there is no point being upset about it, and overall I feel good about it. So I saw something in the week that I thought was really, really interesting. It was a video, and I'm not going to talk about the video. I'm going to talk about a few of the things that were said in the video, and it was about 10 Gnostic teachings of Jesus that the church has hidden or hid. So I thought this was very, very interesting. The first one was know yourself, which we all know is a common kind of like occult maxim. This is a teaching in many, many philosophies across all sorts of religions and cultures and spiritual ways of thinking. It's a common philosophy, and it's about our self-knowledge. That's the sum total of who we are as a person. So we're not just a son or a daughter. We're not just an employee. We're not just a boss. We're not just a teacher. We're not just, I don't know, a cousin or a writer or a cleaner. We are all sorts of things. And when we really, really, truly get to know ourselves, then we can truly make decisions on our path in life that are right for us. And the more and more we get to know ourselves, the more we can get to know other things. So this is inscribed on the temple of Apollo at Delphi, ancient Greece. And when I first was reading these 10 Gnostic teachings of Jesus that the church has hidden, the first thing that sprang to mind with Know Yourself was also, aside from the inscription at Delphi, it made me think of Scott Cunningham's 13 Goals of a Witch. And the first one being know yourself, and then the second one being know your craft, which comes as a result of knowing yourself. And you can sort of understand, can't you, why the church would want to hide this. And it was really, really interesting because there were several others which I'm going to read to you. So there was one that was that which you have, which was about personal responsibility. And I wrote down which Gospels these were all from and which sort of bits of writing these were from the Bible and stuff. And I'm not going to give you that because one, I've rambled on for a while, and two, it's not actually that relevant. Another one was enjoy your possessions. So this isn't about materialism. When you actually break down the quote and what, you know, he's talking about, I think it was a he, this particular one. Maybe I should have written it down for today. But anyway, it's about enjoying life. It's about enjoying yourself. It's about knowing yourself, taking responsibility, enjoying life. There's another one, the hidden will be seen, and what you seek is within you. So again, that kind of goes back to know thyself. So yeah, I'm not surprised really, are you, that the church would want to hide these things. No offence to anybody who is religious. I know we have some Christian witches. I think we might even have one that watches, but I just think it's interesting the things that the church chose to share and the things that they chose to hide. So I'll let you form your own opinions on that. Something else that I thought was interesting, this is my last topic for today. Something else that I thought was really, really interesting was an article on 5 things to remove from your home to avoid poverty and stagnation. So I really, really liked these 5 things, except save for the last one perhaps. So I'll go through them and then you can tell me if you sort of feel the same way about this. So I thought these made a lot of sense. So this is about energy. So of course, everything is energy, everything emits energy. And so therefore we need to think about the items that we have in our house. What do they attract to us? What do they bring? What do they possibly repel? So this is about avoiding poverty and stagnation by removing items that would, otherwise work against that. So clothes that you no longer wear, apparently you should get rid of if you want to avoid poverty and just general stagnation. So they hold the energy of a situation you were once in. They hold the energy of the past, which I guess when you think about clothes, I don't know if you were the same, but I definitely have clothes that I would wear, I would love, and then suddenly, boom, no longer wear them. They no longer feel right. They no longer feel like they resonate with you, and they store the energy of the past apparently, and this is why you can feel that way. You can feel like, yeah, love these, they make me happy, and then boom, suddenly they don't. And that's not in relation necessarily to a particular event, but they just energetically, they just no longer are right for us. So you should only keep things that make you smile, apparently, if you want to avoid poverty and stagnation. And I guess it goes back to, if you've seen those videos, I'm trying to remember the lady's name. She's very, very famous for helping people to declutter. And, she always says that you should just keep things that, make you smile. I think it's difficult, isn't it, to discern between something that makes you smile and something that you're like really emotionally attached to. But, my craft stuff made me smile to a degree, although it did get to the point where it was weighing me down. But when I think of my craft stuff, it does make me smile, but there's a difference, isn't there? Like I wasn't using it. So yeah, I would say that something has to make you smile, but also perhaps you have to use it as well. So another thing in this list is broken things. So the advice is apparently to not mend these things. Don't mend them. They're broken. They are, I'm going to say they're of no use to you, but that's a really difficult thing, isn't it? And I think in this day and age where we need to think about the environment, we have to decide whether this is good advice or not. I'm really torn. I can see the thinking behind this. I can understand why this might get in the way energetically, but also like I keep things like, one, I look after my things really, really carefully so we don't get to the point of being broken. But secondly, if something's broken and I can salvage it and reuse it, then I will. But anyway, the advice is get rid of it. Don't mend it. It's broken. It's a broken thing. Your house is a temple and you don't want to fill it with broken things because of what that will attract. It's an energy blocker. So if it breaks, say thank you. Say thank you for its use and what it did for you, and then let it go. Say goodbye. What do you think? I started writing notes for this video today and to think about this and prepare how I was going to talk about this. And it was only the last one that I got stuck on, but now I'm actually presenting this to you. I'm actually finding issues with these. I mean, clothes, that kind of makes sense. You can move them onto a charity shop, can't you? Someone else can use them. But, you know, if something's broken, if you can fix it and use it, that's a bit harder, isn't it, to get rid of? Because if you give something broken to a charity shop that's obviously been mended, and you think, well, where do we draw the line with this as well if something's broken? I mean, is it just broken but you can put it back together and it looks the same and it's as new? Do we count that, or do we just count like a vase, for example? You know, this idea of mending a vase with gold so that it is still a beautiful item and that the crack is part of its story. I don't know, we have different philosophies overlapping here, don't we? But this is just one person's idea of how to prevent that stagnation energetically. So yeah, I don't know how I feel about that one. Dirty, worn out shoes. Now, our shoes are what we put on our feet. They are what carries us on the journey of life, on our path. And so therefore they're kind of symbolic of our journey. So the advice is to get rid of dirty or worn out shoes. So the advice is that when you wear shoes out, if you get back home and they're looking a bit scruffy, then to clean them up straight away, clean them. And then as soon as they're getting to the point where they're worn out and they look shabby, then to move them. So keep them in order and then move them on. And I guess we kind of do that with shoes anyway, don't we? Like, you never really, I don't think, see anyone with really scruffy shoes. Shoes is a bit of a weird one because they're kind of something that you can take quite good care of, even though they get a lot of use. And I've had shoes and boots and things for years and years and years, and they're still as good as new. So I think once shoes get a bit shabby, people tend to get rid of them anyway. If they get a bit smelly, not that mine get smelly because I take such good care of them, but yeah, if they get a bit smelly, then you're going to get rid of them anyway, aren't you? So that's another funny one. I think that one's up for debate as well. This next rule is, I think, the one that it will, you know, resonate with most people, the one that most people do or know. So clutter. Clutter is an energy blocker. You want the energy to be able to flow freely around your home or office or wherever. Again, your home is seen as a temple. It should be light, airy, clean, tidy. In terms of light, that's not possible for everyone, is it? We live in a very dark house, apart from this room, because we've got 3 big windows. But yeah, you should make your bed every morning. I do that. My husband does not do that, and it drives me mad, and I end up making it, which is, I know, a really, really bad habit to get into, but I can't leave it. So I guess that works for him, kind of works for me. But yeah, he will leave the bed unmade and I have to make it, because for me it's just one of those good habits. To be fair to him, he's getting up early, he's going to work. There's other things that we need to get done first, I guess, but yeah, I like to have the bed made. I just feel that it gets a good start to the day. So I'm always, I do nag him about making the bed. We're supposed to create a harmonious atmosphere. So I guess that kind of ties in well, doesn't it, with things like feng shui. You could put beautiful plants and items and photographs, happy photographs in your home, but yeah, no clutter. And I must admit, me personally, if my house is cluttered, I feel like my mind is cluttered and I can't cope with that. So I'm a very, very neat person. Don't really have like clutter in our rooms, but I definitely was hanging on to things that I had room for. So now I have empty cupboards, which is nice. But so it wasn't really clutter as such with the craft stuff, but it's gone, it's stuff that's not needed. And this makes a lot of sense, doesn't it, this step? Now, the last one, which I really, really struggle with, and I don't know, I mean, I suppose on an energetic level, I agree with it, but in a practical way, I can't get on board with it. But the last one that was suggested is, don't keep objects and clothes of people who are no longer on this physical plane, so people who have passed over. Memories should be kept in the mind only. And I struggle with this. I've got a clock that belonged to my grandparents. I've got my grandmother's Bible. I have a bracelet that my nan gave me, I suppose a couple of years before she died. I have a painting upstairs that she gave me that she really wanted me to have. And yeah, there's no way I could part with those things. The idea behind this is to let them get on with their journey, that the past is the past, they're no longer here, you are. This is about your life and your energy and what you are surrounding yourself with and the effect that that has on you and your life. But eek, I'm just totally not sure about that one. And it makes charity shop buying really difficult, doesn't it? If, you know, the idea is we shouldn't have anything that's, you know, a bit damaged or has belonged to someone else. We don't know. The things that we buy, they carry a lot of energy. And yes, cleanse them before they enter your home if you're unsure. I mean, clothes, they go in the washing machine. You can turn that into, you know, a ritual or a rite, but they get a wash, so they're kind of cleansed anyway. But yeah, you don't know where they've come from. You don't know if they were owned by somebody who has passed over. And to be honest, me personally, I don't actually care, because, you know, I think there's nothing better than going to the charity shop and buying clothes and just reducing that need for clothes. You know, I absolutely love buying secondhand clothes. A lot of my clothes are secondhand. I wore a jacket out last night which I had several compliments on. It was a secondhand jacket that I'd paid only £10 for, and it was really unusual, and because it wasn't in the shops, you know, it was probably like 5 years previously. It's quite an unusual coat anyway though, but yeah, I've never seen anybody wearing one, and it's just good for the planet. So what do you think? I feel like I've given you this information. Obviously it's there for you to think on and for you to make your own decision on, but I feel like I've almost like poo-pooed that, or like 50% of it, and that is very different to how I felt when I was making some little notes about that. I think when you have time to mull on things, sometimes you end up with a totally different opinion, don't you? I can totally see how that would affect the energy of a home. I totally get it. Whether I can get on board with it, I'm not sure. I will not be getting rid of my nan's Bible. I will not be getting rid of her bracelet that she wanted to give me. That was a gift. It was something she used to wear that she wanted me to wear. So yeah, what do you think? Let me know. Do you agree with that list? Do you think it's a load of baloney? Do you feel like you agree with like half that list? Was there something that I thought was a good idea that you disagreed with? How do you feel about that very last point about holding on to things that belong to people that are no longer here on this physical plane? What do you think? I would love to know your thoughts. I have no idea how long I've been nattering for. I'm trying to see. I've got a mirror just over there. I think we're on about 41 minutes, so it's probably time to do some cards. I had a little shuffle and a little intention for these before I started recording, just so that when I do it again now, they've been well shuffled. But we had some cards jumping out, and I was like, oh, do I keep those or shall I wait and you know, use the ones now that jump out? So I think that was the answer. That's what I went for. Have a little look at the energy for the week ahead, the things that might come up for some of you, how you could react to them. Let me know what you have been doing this week. Has it been a good week? Are you feeling the cold? It's suddenly much colder in the UK, although next week it looks to be fairly mild again. Not as mild as it was at the beginning of October, when we had like, was it 23 or 26 degrees on the 10th of October, and I remember that because I was away. But we're into like double figures again, so like 12, 13 degrees, so which is absolutely doable. Oh, that's like half the deck jumped out there. So we have got the Chariot, we've got the Magician, and we have got the Eight of Pentacles. So I think this is like a really sort of like affirming message about your journey, you know, your path in this life. So the Chariot is all about your destiny and traveling on a journey and being pulled this way and that, but ultimately, no matter what happens, no matter what choices we make, no matter what the world and the universe throws up for us, no matter what happens, we are exactly where we are meant to be, aren't we? So even if something happens and it's absolutely the worst thing for us that could ever happen, there is something to gain from that. There is some wisdom to be gleaned, some knowledge to learn from that, to have some insight that will help us further on down the line. So I find the Chariot to be a very affirming card, and it's number 7. It's about choices. It's about choices, about consequences. It's about decisions. And, you know, we can't really make the wrong decisions, really, can we? You know, even if we make decisions and we find that it wasn't right for us at that moment in time, this is the path, this is the journey, this is number 7. So yeah, and the advice here is, you know, backed up by the Magician, that you have all the tools in this world, in this moment as well. So if you're looking at a plan or product, you have got the tools, you're doing the right thing, you have got the skills, the abilities, you will find a way. And then there is the message to work hard at whatever it is you are doing. And with those 3 things in mind, you can't really ever go wrong in any situation, you know, whether you're looking at a situation, just life in general, or love, or careers, or hobbies, or finances, you know, remembering that you're on the right path, remembering that you've got all the tools and skills and abilities, and remembering that work hard, that's always rewarded. You'll always learn more, you'll always gain more, you'll always, you know, achieve more. So yeah, a very positive message for the week ahead, I feel. Just remember that, you know, you're exactly where you're supposed to be in this moment. You have the 4 suits, you have all those tools at your disposal, you're able to use them. You've got one hand pointing up, you've got one pointing down, you know, you've got sort of almost like one foot in this world and one in the next. You're always being guided, you know, you're on the path, and yeah, just work away at it. So lovely message for the week ahead. I hope you've had a really, really lovely week. I hope you have a really, really lovely week coming up. And if you've made it this far, then well done. Thank you for watching. And yeah, I will be back next week. I don't intend to have any more breaks for a while. I just needed to get some stuff done ahead of silly season. So yeah, thank you for being here. I'm sending you so much love. Have a wonderful week. Take care of yourselves and each other. Lots of love. Bye.